All right, shall we start? As usual, let me just post on the chat window the Etherpad link. So if everyone can put their names to the attendee list, that would be great. We haven't been doing a very good job in that so far. So we have two agenda items today, 5G SA and 5G NSA related discussion. If there is time left, we can also discuss other open items. So Suresh, do you want to jump into the 5G SA update part?
On the integration test front, because from the month of June, we have to start handling the native scenarios. We started compiling the test scenarios, and as such, we reviewed whatever are existing, and we identified for some of those 5G cars, the test scenarios are not captured. So we started adding those scenarios, and we had experience in the past. Developing solutions need lead time to resolve the issues or to support in resolving the issues. So yeah, we thought it's better to start upfront. At least 2 to 3 weeks of lead time we can give them to support if there are any open issues from their side to be fixed. So that's on the integration test front. On the SIT, the issue that the real equipment test has shown up for the NGKSI already in use. We started analyzing and targeting a fix before end of this sprint. That is the second one. And then the third one, in the integration test environment, we are not able to finish the PDU session establishment. Yogesh has an update on that. He is trying to port the PRs in a certain order. That way it will be faster to arrive at a stage where at least PDU session establishment will happen. And the other one is the ICS issue that NGAP tester setup has identified. As such, this issue we already encountered, and fix was made available for SIT environment. And in SIT, the complete registration scenario is passing in one go in a particular sequence of events, I mean test events. So the same fix is to be now ported onto the 5G branch, because the particular branch on which Vinay has attempted a test is 5G branch, and on that this fix is missing. So these are the primary few issues we are targeting Ulas in this sprint. Other than that, the new engineers that join on the team, they are graduating onto the Magma master branch, learning few basics, how to create a package, and then how to use the make files, and how to commit using these GitHub related commands. So this is a process they're going through. And I asked Yogesh to give a detailed update onto the porting sequence that he has identified.
Yeah, Ulas. So I have posted the sequence in this project 5G AMF. So the sequence is, I think, 6752. That is the biggest PR which was the last PR we have, which was raised by ACL. So I was trying to do two things. First is, can we make it into smaller pieces, and can we do unit testing? So I think this PR itself is so big that meaning dividing into small pieces might not be possible. Of course, and there are some hard-coded values also. So I think this commit we have to take as is, and then later while porting to master, we have to see how we can have the unit testing specific to the features. then this commit 6437, which I will update with your comments and rebase on 6752. So meaning overall, there is one PR, which is 6336, which we discussed on Friday, was having conflicts. And I had a chance to discuss with Sanjay. So I think he was mentioning that this was primarily target for SIT and was done long back. So they have not really tested it, on Magma 5G along with 6752. So we can't take it as is. What we have to do is the first few commits we have to put, and then we have to have a fresh look on how we can put it in our branch. Of course, the reference code is there, but we will not be able to take it as is.
Is this the GUI-based registration?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it is based on the.
Yeah, it is GUI-based registration. Yeah. GUI-based and SUSI-based registration. So, yeah, because of much conflict, yeah, I think we can't take it in the current format. Yeah, so I think once we have this initial 2-3 commits, we have to then take a fresh look and put it.
So then we should close this PR.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we are not gonna merge it.
Yes, that is for sure. We are not going to merge it. We can just use it as a reference while we are putting this feature onto the Magma 5G.
Okay, let me then just go ahead and close it. Are we capturing these things in the issues?
Okay, no, not right now. I think I will update it. Maybe I will work with Suresh and will create a separate PR for it.
Devesh, whatever we are working on the Magma 5G branch, maybe the latest 1 or 2 that you have today, we may not have created. Otherwise, all the issues that Ganesh ji, Tadi have figured out and working into the ZenHub issues.
All right. There is a lot of background noise. If you are not talking, anyone on the meeting, if you can mute. All right, so I am just closing 3663. All right, and for the other 2 PRs, I will probably merge them sometime today. I will do one more look onto them. If there are some obvious issues, I will raise them.
Sure. So I think
Ulash, this is Raphael speaking.
Yeah,
are we merging without GitHub Actions? I mean, GitHub Actions are not working since Thursday, at least Thursday morning. That's a bit so. I'm a bit concerned.
This is the 5G branch, not the master branch.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, before we merge the master again, we will need to go through the review process and testing.
Okay, no problem. Sorry.
yeah, and yes.
Yeah, I need to also catch up with Tim. Last week, he told me that he was going to create a channel for the builds 5G of the 5G branch. I will just see if he has already created that channel or not. If it does, then it should simplify the build process, basically. with simple upgrade commands, basically using the package management. Going back to the test cases, Suresh, that you were talking about, what type of test cases are those? I mean, can you be more specific? Is there a document that you can point me to?
Yes, Ulas. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll share my screen. This is the carried forward the test status sheet we are using across unit test, integration test, and real equipment test. Say, for example, here.
So this is in Magma dev folder, huh?
Yeah, these are in the Magma dev folder, yes. Say the authentication scenario, for example. Attempt UE registration for no auth response. This is the only thing we have. And as such, there are multiple causes, say cause number 71, cause number 111, cause number 110, and then cause number 21, cause number 23. So in each scenario, we need to have the code stability because the coverage for each scenario is different. So we need to have all of them, and they need to flow through the state machine, in fact, and such a state machine needs to be stabilized, and all these scenarios need to be tested. So likewise, in the case of security mode command, also we have identified few causes for that. There are no test cases here. Say only registration for no security mode completion is there, whereas we have multiple scenarios. So we are going to add those separate items, and for each of these cause scenarios, we need to see how to simulate from DS tester.
Okay, so on the Magma dev, which file is this? I checked a couple of files, but they don't have this view.
Okay, so this is titled 5G status. Yogesh, you have the right permissions of this. You are giving right permissions to everyone, right? So can you please share it with Ulas?
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
but
yes.
in terms of folder, it is under which folder? I mean, Magma 5G, and then we have this couple of test tracker directories.
Yeah, 1 second, I'll just. Suresh, what is the name of the file?
5G status.
Okay. Yeah. So. So, Ulas, I think it got it's there in UPF docs. I think I'll shift it to the main docs, but I think it got created in UPF docs.
Okay. Yeah, let me move it to Magma 5G then.
Sure.
I just did that. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So in terms of the ZenHub issues, maybe can we also discuss briefly on over there where we are in terms of individual issues? Do you want to bring it up?
Yes, Ulas. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So on the board, I'll go on to the board. Sorry, Ulas, this is the first time I'm doing, so I could have prepared upfront for this
It's
meeting
okay.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be more tractable. I mean, if we just basically go through the ZenHub and see what is on the sprint board and what is in progress and what is being blocked.
So these are all the issues in progress, Ulas. So this is an issue reported by Vinay. Ganesh is working on this. Sorry, Rajesh is working.
So are these all these in progress stuff? They are from multiple sprints?
Yeah, they are either.
Because I see May 17, May 28, etc. So so the team is working on issues that are not on the current sprint as well.
Only in the case of Prabina's issues, it is like that. As such, he has finished the tasks that are there in his bucket. The PRs got merged, and he wanted to.
Okay. So why don't we then change the sprint so that they are part of the sprint? Okay.
Then, yeah, Rajesh is working on this state machine changes. Package preparation. This is a learning task to the new engineers. Basically, they have to learn how to use DSS and how to transfer the package onto the DSS environment. And the other one is how to execute the unit tests. And then for unit tests on AMF, as such, on the NJP side, there's not enough coverage. So Yogesh is working on this. As such, using this tool itself, he has fixed the issue related to the PD session establishment on the 5G branch code. And the other issue is whatever Yogesh is talking about, these PRs to be merged. So for that, a new issue is created. And this is a learning task for the new engineers. This also needs the sprint to be changed, because this task Prabina started working, and it was actually initially positioned for the next sprint. And enforcement support for converged UPF. This is another one Prabina is progressing with. And okay, this is also another PR that Prabina is working on. Yeah, for this, the sprint is not assigned. I'll fix that. And Ganesh I is working on this PID issue. And as such, this particular task, he will start from next week and it will spill out to the next week, or that means the following week. So for that reason, it is to be part of both the sprints. So I right away fixed that. Yeah, the UPF node initialization handling on SMF, it is also spanning 2 sprints. That's why it is showing up in both the sprints. And SIT issue related to GUI-based registration as such, this issue involves porting the code from the 5G branch. This is what we last heard from Sanjay. However, we need to check that and see whether to make some tests on the local code that Sanjay gave first, and then if the code is working, we want to port it onto the 5G branch. Yeah, some assignments are not happening. Last, I'll fix these things. Assignments in sense the sprint ID and then estimates. Some of them have these gaps.
Okay.
So next week onwards, I'll come with updates on this board itself.
All right. Thank you, Suresh. So let's move on to the NSA update part. Mohit, we started the discussion just before this meeting. Can you just briefly recap the status, and maybe we should dig a bit deeper on the next step?
Yep, sure. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. So I will start sharing the screen to give just a little background of what we are working on here at the moment. So for the time being, we are making the additions on the 6A interface for the dual connectivity. And that involves, this includes the addition of NRS secondary RAT flag and dual registration 5G indicator. So these two bits are sent on the update location procedure, which involves both the update location request and as well as the update location answer. So for the timing, I can see the additions which we have made of the NRS secondary RAT and dual registration 5G indicator in the gRPC logs. And it's just it for the timing, and we were having the discussion previous to this call about which all additions need to be done for this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where we left off was this update location answer thing. I mean, if you can maybe share the changes that you did there, how you populate the fields.
Okay, so the first thing which I did was to make the addition in the proto for the feature list ID 2, which is one of the field in this update location answer. And then this feature list ID 2, just a second, here. This is defined at the end.
And that is the same change that Oriol did in his PR as well, or is this something extra?
It is the same. I think it is 6234. So I don't know whether I think it was probably because of the urgency of adding, or maybe the requirement of adding the protobuf changes first. So maybe that is why it was added. It's the same for the bit rate units as well, the BPS and the KBPS.
So okay, after you rebase, basically that change will go away from your PR. Can you show me the part where you are actually filling up the response message?
The update location answer, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is from the protobuf, and my understanding was that this is the proto message to ITTI message. So
Now,
it was,
this basically your S6A task gets that answer, and then it basically maps the proto to ITTI message and shoots to the MME app. You know, it doesn't construct the proto message. The proto message is constructed by the subscriber DB
okay.
service.
So yeah, that
So,
I have not done yet. So it is not. If you can point me out to the file, the code in which I have to make the changes.
okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So this is under subscriber DB, there is protocols folder, and there is this S6A proxy servicer. So if you can see, basically there is this update location RPC call handling basically here. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
And what basically it does is it basically gets, prepares this update location answer message.
Okay.
Okay, it basically pulls the profile, subscriber profile using the IMSI key.
Yeah.
And then it fills up this stuff basically in terms of AMBR information, APN information. This is actually the UE AMBR information. And there is a section where in the for loop, it parses the APN information and fills up the bandwidth, etc.
Yeah.
I thought you already added the unit for this case. No, I mean, I remember discussing this thing with you.
Yeah. The units are added here.
So what you should be doing is you should be checking the request message.
Yeah.
And if the request message has the flag enabled,
Yeah.
For that, 5GX, 3X related flag, basically for dual connectivity related flag, then the response message also, you need to basically enable that field.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So as I said, I mean, this ULA is the message that you are constructing and filling up the fields.
Okay.
Of course, it won't be part of the APN. It will be at top level. At this level, you are setting the flag. As far as I could see from your proto definition. Okay, so it will be a simple logic basically. If the request message has the flag enabled, the response message will also flag enabled.
Okay.
Okay. And in the future, we should be updating the orchestrator API so that subscriber data itself, from the orchestrator, we can add whether that feature is supported or not selectively for different subscribers. But for now, we are basically giving a blanket permission. If dual connectivity is supported by the UE, we are saying network can provide that service. Does this make sense?
Yep.
So if you don't do that, if you don't add the field, the proto fields that are not filled will have default values. So that particular flag will be then 0, which means in this context that it is not supported.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
so and your IE element that you construct, I guess you are constructing that IE, no, in your PR.
Yeah. You mean to say
Uh,
the flag which we have in RS
yeah,
secondary that, yep, it is
yeah,
there.
yeah. So that field basically field as 0. So there will be never be an attempt to use the 5G base station.
Okay.
If you do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So add that change to your PR as well, current PR,
Okay.
while you are addressing my other comments.
Okay.
I hope this makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
If I have a doubt, I'll ping you. I'll ping on Slack then.
Is Oriol in the meeting? Yeah, let's sync up with Oriol as well. In terms of the readiness of the fag, in populating these fields. Because TerraVM, I am hoping test cases will be ready this week. In that case, that profile will not be coming from the subscriber DB, it will be coming from the third-party HSS. So that flag will be probably then should be enabled as part of that test scenario.
Okay.
All right. Are there any questions from anyone in terms of the SA and NSA support?
So last, as part of NSA, are they going to add the changes related to 33501 security architecture?
There is no change in terms of the how the S1 protocols are supported. It is just a matter of adding a few additional flags and supporting extended, AMBR fields. But there won't be any change in terms of how the security is managed. So what is the context that you are coming at?
Yeah, because
NSA doesn't have a different security mode per se. I mean, it is still going through the LTEs, authentication, and security mechanisms.
okay, got it, Lars.
But maybe I misunderstood your question. So
I'm clear now. So basically, the way the keys are generated in as per 33551, say that CK prime and K SEAF and all these are related to standalone. So because it is purely non-standalone in this case, or yeah,
in non-standalone, it is a complete LTE hierarchy of the keys.
right.
There is, as I said, there is no new message type as well. There are minimal changes required on the core side. So what we are after is to support option 3x. What happens in option 3x is your control plane is connected to MME through S1. But then your user plane bearer will be pointing to the 5G base station. But from core point of view, there is no difference from a 4G or 5G base station. It is still a GTP endpoint. We basically just do a modify bearer request to change the the tunnel endpoint information. Then the session in 3x, all the traffic is anchored by the 5G base station. So 5G base station can split the traffic to 4G base station, and with dual connectivity mode, you can use both 4G and 5G. Interfaces together to get a boost in rate.
Got it, Ulas. Thank you.
And in option 3, it is the opposite. The LTE base station, B is the anchor point, and it splits the traffic to 5G base station as well in dual connectivity mode. And there are other options like 3A, where the core network splits the traffic to 4G and 5G base stations, but we don't support. We won't be supporting 3A. Most industry, I think, is settled on the 3X, option 3X. Yeah, that is just some backdrop of the overall features.
Where we can see these PRs related documents, is it on DocuSarus or some other location?
In terms of issues, you can go to ZenHub and there will be 5G NSA board, just like the 5G SA board.
Okay.
And there are some links there in terms of the call flows that we are trying to follow. I don't think we have raised any PR for in DocuSarus stuff, because when we started the NSA support, it kind of predates all these new processes that we are trying to put in place. So some of the stuff is sitting in some Google Doc, I believe. But let me just quickly flash it so that you can see where to look. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Ulas.
So if you go to this 5G NSA on ZenHub, you will see basically the issues related to NSA. You can go to the roadmap and you can go to the epic. And you can see basically the reference that we are trying to follow in terms of the call flow.
Yeah, I shared the link in the Zoom chat also.
Yeah.
Right. Me too. Thanks
Also,
so much.
yeah, if you go through this procedures, basically, most of the stuff is between the E node B and G node B signaling, which we are oblivious. The parts that are really relevant for us is after the security mode complete, basically when we do the update location request, this NRS secondary red should be signaled. And HSS, if UE is authorized to use DCNR service, it basically signals that back. The rest of the stuff is more or less the same. The only difference is this extended AP and AMBR will be used if the rate is above 4 gigabit per second. as you can see, I don't know if you are able to see, but you know, it is more or less there is no change basically until the very final point where this ERAP modification indication message comes in. And then this modify bearer request switches the path from the E node B to G node B. Mohit, correct me if I am wrong, but with the OAI core, you basically show the demo for this whole thing, no?
Yep, it was after the modified bearer request. Yep.
So the currently Magma MME is able to handle this indication.
Yep.
But this modify bearer request doesn't go to Magma core, but it goes to OAI core in your demo.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but this doesn't have any specific field. No, it is the exact same fields basically.
Yeah, the only difference is between the tunnel ID and point. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
point
but
the G node be. Yeah.
okay. Anyhow, so our intention goal is to you know, tie a couple of the loose ends this week and be able to do a you know, end-to-end testing with the setup that OAI team has with DS testers, as well as with TerraVM on the Facebook side in our lab environment. One thing that we currently don't do is we don't use this extended maximum requested bandwidth stuff. We still use the units of bits per second, and don't take advantage of these extended fields. That might be one thing if something is not triggered. It may be an issue. But since this thing was not basically mandatory on the OAI testing and with real equipment it is passing, I don't think it's a blocker. The real issue is to get a response, this response basically properly, so that UE and the RAN can start triggering this dual connectivity feature. All right.
So to test this feature, you will have one GNB and one eNode B, and there is GTPC running on them, right?
I mean, we are going to use DS tester and TerraVM for testing. For the real equipment setup you had, Mohit, is you know, can we also test against that?
For the real, we'll have to check because the full stack OAI we did it with the real UE only. But for this one, I'll have to consult Lionel for that if we can do it.
Okay. Because OAI team is also implementing the radio, no,
Yep.
for dual connectivity.
Yes, yes, we have the full stack line here.
Yeah. But you know, yes, the testing scenario, Suresh, has to have one E node B, one G node B, and the core network, and of course a 5G, not 5G, sorry, a dual connectivity UE.
Excellent.
All right. If there is no other question, or open issues to be discussed, maybe we can finish up this call. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.